Good afternoon, LendIt Fintech family. I'm Joy Schwartz, president of LendIt Fintech, and I have the pleasure today of chatting with Juan Mendoza, who is the head of Latin America for LAC at Visa. Juan, congratulations on this relatively new role at Visa, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know you better today. Before I get to meet you in person very soon in Miami in just about 7 days for our LendIt Fintech LatAm event that's happening on December 7th and 8th. So thank you for joining me today, and thank you for joining me in Miami next week.
Hey, Joy. Happy to be here. So excited about our meeting next week and meeting all the participants. It's going to be a great show, great event, great venue. Looking forward and happy, very, very happy to be here. Very happy to be now executing as head of fintech in Latin America at Visa. So, happy to have this conversation and hope it's productive for everyone.
Awesome. And our main goal today, it's just a great opportunity in the lead up to the event to, get a little sneak peek as to, who you are, what your role is at Visa, and who you're looking to meet at the event. So, it would be great if you could just, I know that you're relatively new into your role as the head of FinTech for LAC. Previously being based in Argentina, helping to open Visa's office in Buenos Aires. Can you give us a little bit of background on that?
Yeah, awesome. So I've been with Visa many years, several roles across the region, some in Miami, some Central America, and recently the 4 years in Argentina, opening our local office and basically managing all the issuer relationships, both traditional and non-traditional, and especially focused on our fintech approach there. So amazing years. I think amazing development. Argentina was a great breeding ground of fintech as it continues to be. I'm not Argentinian, I'm Venezuelan, but I know I have my Argentinian heart now. I only drink Argentinian wines starting after those 4 years. But yeah, super excited to be here. Super excited to now be leading the fintech approach for Visa across LAC. And really my new role is I hate job descriptions. I think they're vague. I think they're changed, especially now that in the fintech world, I think, with a matter of days, your job description completely changes and you need to be flexible enough to adapt to change. But I use 4 words to describe what we're going to do, at least on the fintech side. And basically, I want to ensure that we partner with basically any player. And I'll use the word any because now we consider payments to be embedded in everyday life. So, usually we're talking about like the payments industry, but I've had so many conversations over the past few days since I started the role with companies that had nothing to do with payments and that we probably have more opportunities with them than anyone else. So partner is a big part of my role, ensure that small, medium, start, seed, anywhere, we want to ensure that at Visa, all these players and at LendIt next week, just approach us. We want to know who you are. We want to know what you do. And I'm sure that, we are going to be able to partner in one way or another. The second word I would use is grow. So we need to grow our fintech ecosystem. We need to grow the amount of players. We need to ensure that we're able to support these fintechs to grow because that's how we operate. We're a network of networks. And what we want to see is volume. We want to see transactions. We want to see economies thriving. And we need players and we need fintechs to be able to grow. The third one I would talk about is networking. And at the end is, the community of fintech, we all will want to say it, is small. And we all know each other and we all want to grow. And we want to have that word of mouth that, Visa is a company that is seen as open, that is seen as creative, that is seen as a partner of choice. And go from there. I think it's last but not least, and a word that we'll use across the conversation is enable. And to enable, and for what I call enable is, basically, we need a lot of these companies that want to use Visa solutions or leverage our open network, our open platform, open solutions. Don't go and build what has been built. Take advantage of using what we have and enabling others. So, and people always ask me, it's like, exactly what you mean about enable? And enablement for me is speed. It's companies that want to provide solutions in a collaborative world to get to market quicker. And this is what all these fintechs are for. I love conversations when a fintech says, I want to issue Visa credentials, but I have no idea how to start. And that's when I say, great, let's get an enabler. because you are many of these fintechs, they are focused on their own value proposition. Payments is part of their embedded finance, and we want to have those enablers or those fintechs that can get them to market quicker, more efficiently, and obviously more productive, not only for them, for the economies of all our Latin American markets. So those 4 words: grow, enable, network. I think they'll take us a long way for the next few months in our new fintech approach.
Thank you so much for clarifying that approach. It makes perfect sense. So you use the word fintech enabler a lot. Who exactly, and you hit upon it a little bit, but maybe you could go a little bit deeper. What exactly is a fintech enabler? And maybe you could give us some examples of some of kind of your recent fintech enablers that you've onboarded.
Awesome. So yeah, for me, that the enabler is that now use it. It's that entity, company, person, or anyone that actually gets others to be in market and in production quicker. We're talking about speed. We're talking about efficiency. So it's, instead of going and building everything, we have these enablers who leverage our solutions and deploy them to final clients, fintechs, people, issuers, anyone in a more efficient and a quicker way. We used to talk about, and I hate about talking about silos and buckets, but we can, at least for the conversation and for the sake of being a little bit more, having a little bit more clarity, we talk about 3 types of enablers. On the issuance side, so these are enablers that are usually issuer processors, program managers that help other fintechs issue a card or be in a card in production, or a Visa credential, quicker, faster, more efficiently, instead of having them to build everything. So we're talking about, companies like Doc in Brazil, Conductor, the Cacaos in Mexico. We are now seeing, we have Prisma, Global Processing in Argentina, Pomelo recently launching out of Argentina as well, the Tutucas of the world, Minsight. So all of these are companies that we want to partner with, that we want to know exactly what they do. So anyone who's looking to become an issuer enabler or issuance enabler or processor, the more we know you, the better. Because we're getting fintech leads, on a daily basis, and we want to partner you with that. So we want to say, hey, you want to do this? We know exactly who that specific company, who is not only doing issuance, but might be doing issuance focused on crypto. So if you're a crypto player and you want to do issuance, reach out. We'll partner you with the right guy. You don't need to know everything. We have the people, we have the resources, and we have the enablers to do this. So this is a big part of our focus on those who want to do issuance. I think a bucket number 2, or the second bucket, is on acceptance. So these are the enablers who create payment facilitators or support acquirers, or even make payment facilitators themselves, to ensure that sellers can really sell. So we used to talk about merchants who are the ones who sell, but at the end it's like, now we talk about sellers, because maybe I work for Visa on my day-to-day job, and maybe at night I'll sell an NFT because I've become an artist. And we need to ensure that many of these companies that want to enable sellers have the right enablers to be in market and to be able to provide acceptance solutions as quickly as we can. And these, we have hundreds of PayFacs across the region. We have the companies like Helpagos in Argentina who enable other PayFacs for financial institutions and non-financial. So I think there's a fair amount of value there. And the third is digital capabilities, right? So Visa is in our network effect, in our network solution. What we're building is different solutions so that payments can be more efficient. We have better authorization rates, that we can have better solutions, better value proposition. But we're operating as an open network. We want all these companies to go and have the consumption of all of our solutions and deploy them to fintechs in a more efficient way. So enablers that want to use examples like provide security solutions like Visa Token Service, or provide push payment solutions through Visa Direct. So these enablers will capture those solutions and bring use cases and bring value to players who want to play that role. So if you want to push payments, you don't have to build everything yourself. Visa has built the right solutions and the right enablers to get you into market quicker and more efficiently. So that's how we kind of look at it. I think those are 3 main buckets, but we're open to anything. So again, so happy to be here, and so happy to be here next week to talk into details and anyone who might be interested in these types of solutions.
So when you and I were chatting prior to this live session, we were talking a bit about just the diversity of Latin America. And the reality is, we hear a lot about Mexico and Brazil in the news. Sometimes, some of the other countries, specifically countries in Central America, get a lot less attention than they deserve. How, in terms of your priorities now as head of fintech for LAC, where are you putting your attention? Like, are there certain countries or geographies that you're more interested in building relationships with, or I know you mentioned silos, but even within those silos, sometimes there are certain specialty areas such as crypto or payments. Anything that you're really on the hunt for?
Yeah, good question, by the way. So definitely, I can't say or start about saying that, the big players are Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, Peru, the usual suspects. You'll find Chile as well in there. We love them, but there's just so much opportunity to grow there that we want to see more players. So any fintech who's thinking about, which market should I enter, how should I enter, definitely do not fall away that there's too many players, or those are markets that have been penetrated. Not at all. When you compare to other regions, just globally, the amount of players in any fintech vertical, these markets, while they have been been penetrated, potential is huge. Our competitor there is not other fintechs, it's cash. So it's honestly, you'll find a lot of opportunity on that end. On the new markets, of course, we'll talk about Central America and the Caribbean first. These are markets where usually, many of these fintechs, there's not enough scale. And I would want to test that. There is scale in those markets. There is a good size, and there's a bunch of cash if we talk only about acceptance and maybe focusing on payments. So, a lot of focus on those fronts. We want to see more players, especially on the enablement side. If there's, anyone listening and you have an issuer processor idea coming up, we would love to hear more issuer processor going into, Dominican Republic, going into, many English island Caribbeans, all of Central America across the board. So these are, untapped markets that we have still not seen what the ducks of the world did in Brazil, or the cacaos have done in Mexico and many other countries. So I think, we're so excited about where we are in fintechs. I gave you a broad answer, not saying market specific, because on large markets, you still have, tons of opportunity to have more competitors. In markets where we don't see players, we want to promote you to be there because just the opportunity is there, the scale is there, and the future potential of enterprise value is there. So happy to go look at markets, but across the board. And if you look at it, when you see all these VC funding and you see all these players focused on America, that's what they're seeing. There's just such an amount of potential in the region and the ability to grow that, I won't see any market because we're all there.
I love that. I mean, just hearing from you, like we're not nowhere near reaching saturation. Is my big takeaway. And then I love also kind of hearing your perspective that your number one competitor is cash.
Yes, of course. And nobody likes him. It's dirty. And usually people who are not pretty delinquent are the ones who use it. So happy to go digital.
I'd love to hear. So, I've also, we're talking a lot about partnership and building relationships with enablers across the region. Maybe you can kind of dig a little deeper into explaining, how the LendIt FinTech community can benefit from partnering with Visa.
Awesome. So, and I'll revert back a little bit to what we said is that we want to, Visa's new strategy of being a network of networks. And I want to stress a specific word, which is we're now an open network. So our solutions are there to be used and to be scaled by others. And basically, our ability to grow was that interoperability that we have at a global level in more than 200 countries. And it's there for the taking. So we want to ensure that, if by the LendIt FinTech community specifically, ensure that you reach out. We are not that big company that cannot be reached. We want to be reached. We want to get to know you at a very early stage so they can really support you, not only on maybe providing the contacts for the partner that could enable you quicker and more efficiently, but really to test, how we could help you. I've been impressed on, usually a lot of companies say, well, I'm not actually related to payments. My first 10 meetings on the role, companies had nothing to do with payments. There were companies that actually have to do with decentralized workers globally. We recently talking to OnTop, which is a beautiful company out of Colombia. And we had an agenda or a to-do list of things that we could partner with that are amazing. We recently talked to a company that does grocery delivery for a large amount of restaurants. What does that have to do with payments or Visa? Maybe nothing. To-do list, huge. So don't be afraid or even just not wanting to talk to Visa because maybe you're not involved in payments. Payments is embedded in day-to-day life. And if you're not in payments, you will be soon. So make sure that we get to know you, that we get to know you at a very early stage, and that we reach out to partner with others or just to have a general collaboration. So I think that's going to be a great takeaway of this session, a session of our sessions in person, just to get to know a larger amount of the community, a larger amount of the players and what they're doing, and ensure that they know what Visa does and that we're an open company to take them and grow them as much as we can.
No, I mean, I think that's a very common theme, just the role of embedded finance and how it's changing the way that everyone works together is really remarkable. And that's a topic that you'll see it covered a lot, throughout the agenda at the upcoming event as well. This is a great opportunity for me to transition, Juan, and kind of ask you. I mean, I know, you've been boots on the ground in Argentina, and now you're in Miami covering the whole region. What other trends or themes are you kind of staying abreast of that are really piquing your interest?
Yeah. Okay. So I have to say the obvious. So obviously, I think we'll use the word crypto a lot during our sessions. And obviously, we love the word, right? We're doing a lot on it. We're doing a lot to enable many and on different fronts, anywhere from ensuring that crypto exchanges can accept Visa credentials to acquire the digital currency. We're doing a lot on loyalty on crypto for traditional issuers, which is kind of an interesting play and something that I haven't seen enough in Latin America, to be honest. And I'm looking for that next week. And obviously, definitely many of these crypto exchanges and players will want to issue cards or general credentials. And being that virtual, being that physical, there's a huge opportunity on crypto, and we'll be, we are doing a lot. We're partnering with many players. We recently announced a huge partnership with Ripio, Lemon in Argentina. So now a lot to do here, and more to come. We want to see more. There's room for a lot of them, and we want to be your partner of choice. And obviously, there's things that if you focus on the US, there's a lot of buy now, pay later being super sexy and now going into Latin America. If you ask an Argentinian and if you ask a Brazilian, we've been doing buy now, pay later, parcelados in Brazil, cuotas in Argentina for, ages. So this is one of the things that we're experts on it. So now the US is seeing BNPL. We've been doing it, but the approach is a little different. So that convergence of Latin American experience with new formats or new players coming in on BNPL, I'm super excited on how that will merge in Latin America, and I think there's going to be a lot of potential. Obviously, alternative lending is something that I'm looking forward to. Still haven't seen enough in Latin America beyond BNPL. And just general new concepts of what we call the fintech of fintechs, right? So we want to see, the Rapis of the world, the Pedidos Ya's of the world, many of these, marketplaces, unicorns that have gone all over. Payments or embedded finance has become a big part of it. So I think there's more to come in that front. And I'm so excited about seeing many of these topics and many of these companies wanting to partner with us and just grow the acceptance and payments infrastructure across LatAm.
Mm-hmm. A lot of really interesting topics that you touched upon there that I'm looking forward to diving deeper into next week. So I guess my next question for you, so what happens? You meet these amazing fintechs or non-fintech companies that have embedded financial services, and you identify all these potential ways that you can support one another. How do you make it official, and what does it mean to really be a Visa partner, a Visa enabler? I know I've read about your Visa Fast Track program. So what happens after the handshake?
Awesome. Yeah. So I think over the past few months, and we've been working strong. We want to speak your language, and we want to speak the language of fintechs, right? So we were usually, when we were wanting to make a program or a new issuance of a new player, we would talk about financial statements. Now we talk about your seed investments and your seed rounds. When we used to talk about, what's your, revenues, et cetera. Now we talk about, potential founder fit. We talk about, amount of users that you expect, expected projections of these players and how you can approach into different industries. So we're definitely talking your language. We are a company that is, with one of the best, fintechs in the world, actually, even by the size that we are, but we want to partner more. So if you talk about, what's the next step, first is just identify what you want to do and ensure that you know what you want to do, even in payments. And Visa can be that company that directs you the right way and the quickest way, even if that is through an enable that it's already operating with us, or if it's directly with us. So we'll take that first decision on, should we partner with someone else to get you into market quicker, or should you do it directly with us? And we're happy to do it either way. We just want to ensure that you're efficient on doing so. Once you're up and running, it's how do we make you grow? And this is basically, do you have the right value proposition correctly? So we'll provide anywhere from our consulting teams to our own, boots on the ground teams that we want to say, Visa wants to see volume. Visa wants to see as many transactions converted from cash to digital payments, and we want to see as much sellers as they can, up and running and operating in our models. And we have hundreds of approaches to make that happen. So if you tell me, what should they take away is get to know us, reach out. We'll put you in contact with the right person if it's not directly with us, and we'll ensure that once you're up and running, we'll make you grow. If any fintech will look at it, even if that's on the issuing side, on the acceptance side, on the digital capability side, on the crypto side, it's the same approach. Meet us. We'll make you a great company, and we're happy to do so.
Well, Juan, your passion and enthusiasm for fintech partnerships, oozes from you. So I know that our community is going to be really, really appreciative to meet with you and your team next week in Miami at the event. As we're nearing the end of our time together, to keep it fun and a little lighthearted, we've learned a lot about, your role at Visa and your quest for finding the best fintech enablers and partners. Maybe kind of tell us something about you that we may not know. It could be professional and not professional, as we're going to be looking forward to sharing cocktails with you in a couple of days.
Awesome. All right, so I'll go for a non-traditional one. I've made so many bad decisions in my life that have actually taken me to where I am. I'm actually a lawyer. Didn't practice law basically I graduated in Venezuela. I actually wanted to be an entrepreneur. So good. Lawyer, made one mistake. Let me be an entrepreneur. And did my MBA in entrepreneurship, fully focused, went straight to corporate America. It's like, why are you going to a corporate company if you want to be an entrepreneur? And then when I decided to say, I've done enough in Miami, Visa offered me a position. I went to Argentina, possibly the worst economic crisis of the country. I arrived with my 2 kids, my wife. So I was like, whoa, I've made terrible decisions. But when I look back, I want to say that I think differently because I'm a lawyer. I have done corporate entrepreneurship, brilliantly, and I think being an entrepreneur inside a corporation has been, a great thing for me and a great thing for many of my colleagues. And I'm an expert at operating in crises, thanks to being in a country in a huge crisis. So, I think many of our entrepreneurs that we want to be super proactive and we want to be super flexible. It's great to make mistakes, just learn from them and just put them in the right direction. Take that from me.
Well, thank you. I love that. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to kind of get to know you from a slightly different perspective. It definitely brings things closer to home.
Thank you.
With that,
Thank you for everything you do. We know there's a lot going on, and we're going to have a great session, many sessions, and it's thanks to you and the team. So happy to do so.
thank you. We are so excited, and we can't wait to see you in person next week. The event kicks off. If you're arriving to Miami early, we've got a welcome reception that's going to be happening on Monday evening at 6. And then the event kicks off promptly on Tuesday, December 7th. We will have 2 action-packed days, lots of structured one-on-one meetings, content, as well as wonderful cocktail parties in the evening. And we can't wait to see you there. And we've been just overwhelmed by the enthusiasm of our community as we get back to in-person events. So I know there have been a lot of curveballs thrown at all of us in the last couple of months and the past, nearly 2 years now as we've been coming back after the pandemic. But we have over 600 people confirmed to join us in person in Miami from over 35 countries. So the enthusiasm has just been off the wall. And in addition to that, we also have a really strong virtual contingency. So we've got over 100 participants joining us online because we do know that this year not everyone can be there in person. So really, it's time to get down to business. The networking app launched yesterday. So if you're already registered, you should log on and start scheduling your one-on-one meetings.
Yeah, love the app. Love the app. I'm there. I'm already up and running. So I expect to receive a lot of networking events, network calls, and network meetings. And if not, I'm probably the baldest guy in the room. So I'm easy to find. See everyone there.
I love it. Easy to find, and take it from me and Juan. Juan's looking for your meeting request. So get Umbrella and send Juan your meeting request right now. And Juan, with that, I'm going to say it's a wrap, but I will see you very soon in Miami. Thank you so much for your time today.
Bye, everyone.